So hello guys. Hello guys. What's up and welcome back to my YouTube channel. It's me, your girl barrister Neze, and this is Nezeville. One very uncomfortable expectation of women in Nigeria is the expectation that they should be pregnant immediately after they get married. In fact, on the wedding day, Gongo, she starts to get the subtle pressure. We want to hear the cry of a baby in this house in the next 9 months. We want to come and eat jollof rice. We want to come and do omugwa in the next 9 months. When the pregnancy does not happen immediately, some very thoughtless ones would even approach you. Oh yes, they will confront you. And they would ask you, what are you waiting for? You want to be here doing shakara, painting your mouth, painting your nails. You will not give your husband a baby. My friend, they give your husband one baby because make your leg for strong gidibam for your husband's house. What are you waiting for? Common sense is not common after all. So one can only imagine Esther James's anxiety and state of mind when 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 years after marriage, baby was not forthcoming. The fear, the pressure, the worry. Well, after spending years searching, praying, crying, and believing, she got a prophecy. She was told that she will bear a golden child, and that child will be the one to pull out the family out of poverty and turn their destinies around. Esther James got pregnant and bore her golden baby, her first child, a baby girl. She named that child Victoria James.
My mom waited for 5 years to have me.
Yeah.
And how did she have me was like a prophecy. And she was told that this is the girl that would change everything.
Victoria James, also known as VEEKEE James, is a prolific Nigerian fashion designer and an overall entrepreneur. She was born on the 9th of June, 1995, into the family of Mr. Augustine James and Mrs. Esther James. She hails from Nsitatai in Akwa Ibom State. But hey, you know the drill, and the drill knows you. Before we proceed with this juicy story, if you're new here, you're seeing my face for the first time, or if you've been watching without subscribing, don't forget to hit the subscribe button. Give this video a big thumbs up. Oh yeah, give it a thumbs up. Pia the thumbs up button now. Kia. Turn on your bell notifications. Drop your comments as you watch and stay glued because we have so much more coming your way. Let us proceed. Some people believe that when a woman searches for a child, when she stays trying to conceive for a long time, and the first baby comes, that baby opens the pathway for a downpour of babies to follow. Well, that was the case for VEEKEE James's mother, because by the time VEEKEE James was only 4 years old, her mother was pregnant for the third child, for VEEKEE James's second brother. While preparing and anticipating for a new baby, tragedy struck their home. VEEKEE's father died suddenly, leaving a less than 5-year-old VEEKEE behind, her pregnant mother, and a little toddler brother. It was a devastating shock that they did not see coming. VEEKEE James was not born with a silver spoon. No. That's too much exaggeration. She was born with no spoon at all. Not a wooden spoon, not a rubber spoon. They resided at the Ajegule axis of Lagos. And if you know Ajegule, if you know AJ City, you know. Ajegule is very famous for being the poverty slum headquarters of Lagos State, a hotbed for criminals, cultists, and dropouts. You would typically find gang members and very notorious people parading the hood. That environment was no place to raise a child, but that was the place that VEEKEE's family could afford. That was exactly the place that VEEKEE James was raised. Life got even tougher for VEEKEE James and her family when their father died. Her mom vowed that she was not going to get remarried.
Since I was born, since I lost my dad until today, my mom has never slept out of the house when nobody saying a church night vigil night we dey go. And I remember when my dad passed, one of our pastors in church, the head pastor in church, asked her that, "Oh, are you going to remarry?" She said no, that she's never going to remarry, that she wants to give her life into raising her children.
That she was going to dedicate her whole life to caring for her children and raising them in the way of the Lord. And so she did.
Since then up until now, my mom has never remarried.
Wow.
You know, she promised to give her life to bringing us up alone, you know, to have time for us.
She was a fashion designer. Well, that's a luxury word. She was nothing close to what her daughter will eventually become. Let us just call her the simple name that we call them. She was a tailor, and she was eking a living making clothes for residents around Ajigule for very meager amounts.
My mom obviously hustled. Yeah. You know, did not get anybody for Ajigule, for that our area. We don't know my mom.
VEEKEE James attended nursery and primary school there in Ajigule, and given the fact that what her mother was able to muster from her small tailoring work was barely enough, she had to take to various hustles at a very tender age to assist her mother and supplement the family's income. As far back as when VEEKEE James was in primary school, she began making hair, cornrows here and there, and the ladies in her compound, her vicinity, would line up for VEEKEE to make their hair. Come weekends, even after school, during school days, ladies would file up, waiting their turn as VEEKEE James would make their hair. Getting some small cash from the hair making, she also went into knitting. She would make sweaters, caps through those knitting threads, and she would sell. And then she became like a mini carpenter. She would make piggy banks. We used to call it kolo back then. She would construct wooden piggy banks and she would sell for little money. And by the age of 8, at the tender age of 8, she had begun joining her mother to make dresses. They kept managing and struggling, living hand to mouth until VEEKEE James was able to finish secondary school. VEEKEE James nursed the ambition of being a medical doctor. In fact, she kept on taking the JAMB examinations. If you are not Nigerian, JAMB, Joint Admission Matriculation Board examinations, it is a compulsory examination, at least for public institutions, that everybody must take and pass in order to gain admission into the university. So VEEKEE James kept on taking this exam. She took it the first time, took it the second time, took it the third time, trying to gain admission to study medicine, to no avail. And after her third attempt, trying to gain admission, she was eventually offered admission to study biochemistry, a course which she said she despised so much. But at this time, she didn't have the luxury of choice. Her family persuaded her to proceed with biochemistry, and so she did.
But because I already waited, I already stayed home for too long. I already written JAMB like 3 times. Wow. I didn't want to wait again. I just make I collect the biochemistry. I can't collect the biochemistry.
Things were not so easy and rosy for VEEKEE James, even when she was in the university. Yes, her father's brother were offering some assistance here and there, trying to pay school fees and all of that. But she had other needs that needed meeting. She learned makeup artistry fully and combined it with her already established skills as a hairdresser. And then she began makeup and hairdressing there in school. Oh, VEEKEE's hands are so blessed and gifted. Not long after she began this hustle, she began getting a good amount of money. She was able to send back home to her mother and even train her 2 younger brothers. The demands of her job grew more with every passing day, and before long, it became incumbent for her to travel from one place to another for one makeup job after the other. And although it was financially rewarding, it sure did come with its own troubles. Due to the persistent travelings and the time it took from her, not to talk of the distraction, her academics began to suffer.
So I did well in the first year, second year. From the third year, school, my scores were now shaky because I was now like a full-time makeup artist and hairstylist, you know, because I was still sending money home, sending money to my brothers, paying my fees as well.
She would miss this test here, miss this one the other day. She couldn't concentrate and study properly for examinations. The carryovers began piling. The GPAs began dropping. And during such times, when she misses the test and she comes back to approach the lecturer to reason with him like, oh sir, please, I missed your test. Can I have a retake? Can you please give me an opportunity to rewrite? The lecturer would look her from head to toe and say, if you want to pass, you know what to do. Hey, she would say, excuse me, sir, I don't know what to do. Hey, and he would say, you failed my test. You failed my exam. Hey, if you want to pass, you know what to do. Mr. Lecturer, you know them and they know you.
Most of the times when I go travel, go do jobs, you know, lecturers go don't come give. I even posted this in one of my videos. Lecturers go don't come give impromptu tests, you know. By the time you come back, you won't go beg them, say, I know been there, I know say you won't give test, though. They go say they won't sleep with you. Most of them literally told me that if I like, I do it again. If I don't sleep with them, this is that. I'm going to stay in this school for years.
According to VEEKEE James, she declined the offers. She declined the sexual advances of these random lecturers. And it did cost her a lot because they would tell her straight to her face that you will fail and keep failing and you will not graduate. So at some point, she got fed up. Yes, she had it to her neck and with no plan, no notice, no asking to defer, no formalities, nothing. She just picked up her bags and left school. Dumped everything, left everything behind. She dropped out in her 400 level, her final year.
This is it. Like, I just left. I didn't even like put down any official things I want to suspend, I want to defer, nothing. That's how I just left.
When VEEKEE James got back to Lagos and told her mother that she had dropped out of school, oh my God, her mother wept bitterly. Oh, my enemies have finally caught me. Lord, of all my suffering, what have I done to deserve this? Seeing her widowed mother cry so much also pushed VEEKEE into shedding tears. But she held on to her mother and told her mother to trust her, to believe her, that she was going to make her proud. VEEKEE swung into action immediately and she converted the space in her mother's living room into some kind of studio stroke sewing shop, and she began sewing. She would sew and sew deep into the night and sew until her fingers burned. And when she was done, she would take pictures of what she had created and put it up on social media, put it up on Instagram, and model it on her body. She began getting clients online. Her Instagram DMs was full and she was shipping these clothes all over Lagos. Only 6 months after she got back home from Uyo and began sewing in her mother's living room, there in Ajigule, she made the big decision to leave home. Yes, she loved her mother so much, and her mother loved her too. They were basically all that they have got. She was also getting a lot of assistance from her mother's staff, the tailors that worked at her mother's shop. So for her mother, it wasn't such a good idea for her to leave her comfort zone, leave all the assistance that she had at her disposal and go somewhere else. But for VEEKEE, she knew that it was time to go. She needed a new start. She needed a new environment. She needed new inspirations, new people. She needed new concepts, new ideas, and new faces. She knew that it was time to leave Ajigule. She had saved up about 500,000 naira within such a short time, and then she took the big leap and left. So sometime around 2018, she kissed her mother goodbye and she moved out of their house in Ajigule and rented a place at Magodo. She used the house for both her residential and business. And then she began putting in her 100, sewing, staying up all night, giving it her best, coming up with creative designs, and her work began to get more visibility and recognition. She partook in the Kaneko competition in 2019 and she won. She was awarded 750,000 naira for that win. And then she went for the Alibaba Spontaneity contest and won there as well. She got 250,000 naira for that win. Before long, very big and notable blogs began posting the works of VEEKEE James, Bella Niger, name it. It was as though immediately she left AJ Ajigule and moved to Magodo, the heavens opened and blessings were overpouring. Only 1.5 years after VEEKEE James left Ajigule for Magodo, she again made a very big leap. She relocated her business and herself, of course, from the mainland to the island. And men, that was when, it was as though all beam lights were pointed at VEEKEE James. She became the woman of the moment. In 2021, she won the Sugar Awards Fashion Stylist of the Year. And in 2022, she went home with the award for the Best Designer at the AMVCA. She also won the Future Awards Africa Prize of Fashion, as well as the Fashion Designer of the Year at the Haconomy Awards. In 2023, VEEKEE James won the Best Celebrity Stylist at the Reader's Choice Awards and the Bridal Fashion Designer Brand of the Year at the La Mode Awards. She made the famous Osas Igadolo's AMVCA dress that got her winning the best dressed at that event in 2022. And in 2024, she made 5 AMVCA dresses for Funke Akindele, Osas Igadolo, Toke Makinwa, Tomike, and Uche Montana. Forbes magazine, oh yes, the almighty Forbes magazine, has named VEEKEE James in their prestigious 30 under 30 list. And that was how this little girl, born into very lowly and humble beginnings, rose to become this force to be reckoned with. Guys, there is no question about it. VEEKEE James is definitely a very wealthy woman. Still in her 20s, she has amassed an incredible amount of fortune and name for herself. True to the prophecy, oh very true to it, she has indeed brought out her family from poverty, lack, and want. She pays rent and carries out her business from 4 different duplexes in Chevron Lekki, and according to her, the space is not even enough to contain the amount of orders and demands that are coming to her plate. Her cheapest bridal piece goes for above 1 million naira per dress. And her clientele base spans far beyond Nigeria, all across Africa, to even all over the world. VEEKEE James has created wealth from a gift and a talent given to her, which was nurtured by hard work and consistency. That, my darlings, is the background story of Victoria James, aka VEEKEE James, the most lauded female CEO in Nigeria. And then you may ask, this is such an inspiring story. What is there about her to hate? Why is she constantly being trolled and dragged online? Why does she constantly come under very serious attack? Well, your guess is as good as mine, but it could be one or more of these First, it could just be the price that comes with fame and popularity. With fame comes hate, envy, and criticism. And of course, VEEKEE James is no exception. Secondly, it could be that the society that she found herself in is yet to come to terms with a young, beautiful, and very successful woman with no male figure, no man, no sugar daddy, no politician to attach her to, no sponsor to attribute all her success to. Her guts, independence, and doggedness might annoy some people, especially you know the folk. It could also be that VEEKEE James is always dressed so sexily, so bootylicious, and yet she flaunts herself as that born-again girl, that Jesus baby, that God's right-hand man. And some people are like, oh please, spare us. And it could also be her choice to flaunt her personal life, her man, her marriage, on the faces of social media users 24/7. Talking of which, we will go deeper into in our next video. Who is this man? Who is VEEKEE James's husband? Who is Femi Atere? And what is all this whole drama, all this whole cataclysms that is going on in that space? In our next video, we will go deeper and personal. I just wanted to give you guys a background story on who this individual is so you can be prepared for the bump coming in the next video. For now, do drop your thoughts on what you think about this Grass to Grace story. Do you find her story inspiring, or do you think that there's nothing to be proud of dropping out of school? Do you believe that graduating from university is not necessary? All these attachments that our parents and grandparents usually attach to, you must graduate. So many graduates are roaming around the streets, no job. Many of them have taken to menial jobs. But look at VEEKEE James, a multi-millionaire. Do you believe that in our society we should reduce the weight that we attach on graduate, university, and allow the children to pursue their God-given skills and potential, just as VEEKEE James did? Why do you think that VEEKEE James is getting all of this constant attack and negative press on social media? Do you believe that there is some way that she can restructure her brand to mitigate all of this social media dragging? Do drop your thoughts about this beautiful lady that I just introduced to us, and what you think about her story and all the trends that she is making, while you relax and prepare yourself for our next video. So guys, yes, we have come to the end of today's video. If you're new here, seeing my face for the first time, or if you've been watching without subscribing, don't forget to hit the subscribe button, give this video a big thumbs up, drop all your comments down in the comment section, and stay glued because we have so much more coming your way. It's me, your girl barrister Neze, and this is Nezeville. I'll see you guys in my next one. For now, bye.